Hello and good morning, everyone. This is Todd Rich with Nadex. We are going to be doing the Nadex morning analysis. Once again, I do have Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple with me. Unfortunately, Brian's camera isn't working this morning. If you were with us yesterday, we had some minor technical issues with Brian's computer, but we are working through them. But we do have a screen. Brian is joining us. Hello, Brian, just so they can hear you.
Hello, hello.
All right, perfect. Before I get into it, what did I just do? There we go. Before I get into it, this is brought to you by our compliance department, and so it's important that trading does involve risk and may not be appropriate for everyone. All trading is done at your sole responsibility. And please, this is an education session. Do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. All right, with that, I'd actually like to bring up, I think I'm going to start this morning because I'd like to do a quick review of what we were seeing in oil. And if you give me 1 second, I am going to jump over to my to the Nadex chart. I think this is where we're going to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one we got cut off on yesterday. And everybody out there, I apologize. Blue screen to death. I haven't seen one of those, and I can't even tell you how long. But obviously, all the problems are not fixed because I am not here today. And I even got a haircut. I look really pretty this morning. But, yep, didn't work out.
All right, so let me let's start sharing that screen. It helps if I turn it on.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, come on. I'm tell so many jokes, Todd.
No, we want to get going here. Let's get going. I apologize. It's just one of those mornings. All right, so listen, we've been talking about oil. It is a supply demand product. There's obviously been some supply numbers that have come out. We had the inventory number yesterday. But then there's also the demand component to oil, where people tend to use oil as a proxy for the health of the economy. And as some of these COVID vaccines have come out, people have thought, okay, we're going to be in the clear. The economy is going to be coming back. People are going to need more oil. But we have very much seen oil being range bound as it's bounced between. I mean, yesterday we were talking just above this 42 level. There tends to be some sellers that show up. I mean, it poked just through the level, but indeed it trended down, and we're seeing all the way down where we see the buyers come in just above 41 in that 41 and a quarter range. So it's done this. If you've been following us for the last week, it's I don't know what the future is going to hold, but it does appear for the time being that oil has been very much range bound between that 42 and a quarter up above and 41 and a quarter down below. And it can make some interesting, compelling stories for people who are looking either in the binary options or even in call spreads or knockouts. If you're everything's limited risk, limited reward, so you can take a direction short or long on the price of oil. And if you think it's going to continue to stick in these ranges, definitely something to think about. What I'd like to do now, though, Brian, I'm actually going to flip over to your screen because I want to see what you're seeing in oil, and I know that also has a tail effect on what goes on in nat gas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So here's my oil chart again from yesterday. We're sitting obviously right here, right now. We were actually sitting right here yesterday, and we talked about any type of a spike up into that 42.25 range before inventory, we'd be looking for a short. As well as if we got a big spike down, we were looking to go kind of long from this lower area. Again, buyers have stepped in here at 41.25. They tried again, popped it and went off of it, and then that was the rally point that brought us back up into the middle. So this is kind of the channeling that we're looking for right now. One additional thing I want to add here before we jump across to natural gas, though, is, again, I know everybody loves their fibs out there. I'm looking for areas of prior selling and basing, and it's always interesting when you do have something that matches up. And if I draw fibs across, you can see not only are we at the 50% right now, but you'll see another level right here where we had some sellers coming in. Let me grab this, put this across. And again, there's an area where we'd see sellers coming in, which also, again, is bisected by the 61.8 for you fib junkies. And again, you can see the last time we touched that area, again, that zone just shy of the 61.8, we had a large explosive move. So if we get a pop up into there, without going back to your Nadex, I think everybody should go out there and look to see where the binary prices are, because there is something rather close to that level. Up in this range. So I would go out there and look at it, do your homework, check out the platform. Let me switch across now to natural gas because the story here also has been affecting natural gas. Natural gas. Where is it? Natural gas futures. We'll go to current contract. So you're looking at natural gas. You're looking at this and you're going to be thinking, oh my God, it's falling through the floor. Look at this. It's just going down. They're going to give it away, right? Um, Unfortunately, if you go back to a daily, though, it gives us a little bit better of a view. And you can say, hey, listen, we've kind of been back here, but what's driving this? So there's a couple things driving it. And the reason why we want to draw some attention to it is, again, this is a daily, so it's a much bigger chart, but we can see that buyers have really stepped in here before, right? We've seen it gapped, it pulled back down again, it tried to rally out, pulled back and went higher. And again, daily chart, I get it, but it is Thursday. And if you guys don't know what Thursday is natural gas inventory reports. And when we look to see what the oil inventory report forecast is, the forecast is 22 billion, right? Cubic feet. That's a huge surplus. Huge, which could also be driving that number down. Now, you can see before, obviously, they've been off, but this thing can swing very, very fast. Now, it's not like it's been particularly cold. I mean, I know in Maryland this week, it is definitely a colder week, but seeing large forecasts like this, if this is a miss, looking at it on a technical basis, this is kind of set up for some type of a reversal play. Okay. Now, ideally, I wish it was Monday. We'd have a lot more longer time to do this. But even on a lower level, say we drop down to 4 hour, you can see that there's definitely some levels that we are approaching in a time of news. Okay. So again, that always is kind of one of those things that I like to highlight. Again, seeing these bounces here, coupled with news, again, it's one of those things that I like to look at. And again, if you're new to natural gas, the best way to do that, please go over to demo, try it out there first, just so you can kind of get a feel, get your heartbeat on it. But like I said, this to me, again, this is a lot of movement down. Everybody expects it to be a really, really high number. And if it is a really high number, nothing will probably happen because all the movement has already happened. If it's a miss, this sets it up for some type of a reversal play back to the top side. One other thing I want to dive into real quick, unless you have anything here, do you want me to jump in?
I just wanted to jump over. We're going to take a quick peek. I just want to look at nat gas while we're on it because
sure.
To me, it's just because it's been so volatile. I mean, I'm looking at this channel that we've been seeing as of late. Right here, I'm actually going to even back it up some. Right, there is definitely something in here. I'm not sure where the play is, whether it's in a call spread, maybe more potentially for something in the binary space. And I'll just pull up the weekly quickly. There are some levels in here where you're right. I mean, if you're going to potentially see a reversal, it could get kind of interesting. If it continues lower, there's going to be a point somewhere where the buyers will eventually step in, and you might want to, people could take a look at some of these binary options, and there might be an opportunity.
This could even be a 2 hour binary type,
right. And who knows? Again, limited risk, limited reward. So definitely defined in what you're doing, and if you do see a reversal, there could be an opportunity around that. So just something to look at. I like to give people something to look at, particularly new markets they might not have necessarily considered before, but nat gas is moving. So, all right, let's go. I think I know you.
It has a very small spread width as well. It only has a 10-cent spread width on that. All right, I guess 10 points, but very small. Another one quick thing, and again, this is already starting to move on us. Again, this is what we expect for pre-market news. There's a small level in the NQ that I was looking at. Again, it's already moved a little bit, so show caution with this one. Came in at approximately 11,881 this morning. But again, you can see, again, strong movement off. Again, this is one of those kind of teaching points. We get some basing in a prior level where we had some let me make this a little bit bigger. The resolution is off there a little bit. But you guys can see that we've had this area here where sellers have stepped in, right? They stepped in. And again, we were able to make a little bit smaller risk. Punching to the downside, again, temperatures are going down. COVID cases are going up. Kind of supports, some type of a rollover here in the morning as well. And like I said, it's already starting to move. So, we may be chasing this one a bit to the downside. But with, no real news from now till really natural gas. I mean, I guess there's at 10 o'clock, there is existing home sales and the CB leading index, but the unemployment claims numbers came in higher than expected at 742 versus 707 forecast. So again, kind of a negative spin on the market. And again, we'll see how the market reacts to it.
All right, let me just jump over to the Nadex platform on this one quickly. Right. I mean, you are seeing, here's that level that you're looking at. Oddly, it's right around that. I those even numbers around 11,900. It tends to be psychological levels, if anything else. We talk about that all the time, the double zero numbers. Um, but yeah, if it were to come back up in here, and you're right, maybe it is starting to roll over. If people are interested, there are potentially some knockouts that again might be kind of compelling if someone were interested in looking at to see this continue to roll over and trend lower. So again, people got to define and determine what their risk and reward is and what they're looking at getting
Yeah, I mean, it's
into. But
definitely on the higher side, inside of that, if you're going to draw a curve of the, just in general, not in regards to the NQ in general, but when I'm looking at knockouts myself, I know that I want them in that upper kind of 10%, of the knockout, and that one would qualify. Not for this trade in particular, but I'm just saying in general when I'm looking for knockouts.
Interesting. I think before we wrap it up, I know the dollar was looking a little stronger overnight. Maybe you could quickly just kind of take a look at what's going on in with the dollar against a couple of currencies before we call it a day and let people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the things that we've talked about, again, you can see the Aussie. This is a 4-hour chart, so it's a little bit bigger. I can go down to an hourly, but we've talked about levels. And again, let me go back up real fast and just move this to the side. We talked about being very, very high on the curve. We've bounced off this level. It's a level that I've mentioned here. We've mentioned it on our Tuesday sessions as well, about it coming back down again. We're kind of at the extreme ranges, and you're able to see that. And again, this is very, very similar to what we're seeing in gold. So it's a dollar kind of strength, but also a gold/weakness play in many of these cases. So we're pushing back down. We still got a little bit room to run. It is going to start hitting some buyers coming back in again, at least in this situation, which again would show us some dollar weakness. And just a word of warning, again, being very dollar focused and watching the dollar a lot. There are 3 main sessions inside of currencies. There's the European session, the US session, and the Asian session. One of them tends to be the mover, and then it kind of flatlines a little bit. So a lot of the movement that we've seen has already been in the UK session. We may have a slow day going forward, but that means tomorrow morning would be another day that we'd have extreme dollar movement, even in the UK session. So we see it here. You can see in the dollar cat as well. Again, dollar strength. This is on a 30-minute. We'll stay consistent with it. Let me move this to the side. Same thing. You can see we're coming off levels here. Dollar Swiss, again, strength here as well. And then again, counterbalancing that with gold, you guys can see that gold is basically heading straight down, right? Gold is pushing down. But again, gold is pushing down into levels where we've had buyers step in. Gold prices go up. The dollar will tend to flip with it as well. And then also, again, comparing it to silver, the same type of drop from that middle area down into the 23.8 that we talked about on those Tuesday sessions. So yeah, it's been a lot of gold, a lot of dollar play in the overnight. But at this point, I would expect the dollar to kind of run out of steam as we travel into the next session. So again, set your trades up. This is where definitely I'm a little bit more biased towards the knockouts, just because again it gives me 48 hours of duration before that final expiration for the week.
Awesome. Hey, listen, Brian, thank you for joining us this morning. I know we'll get your camera fixed next time.
Yeah,
everyone, even though it was a little slow overnight, definitely could be some action in the markets. Hopefully you are able to identify some potential hotspots that you can be looking at today. If you got any questions for Nadex, customer service at nadex.com. Please follow us on social media. We're constantly putting up new content out there, particularly on our YouTube channel. I'd recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're with us now, you already might be subscribed. If you're not, do so. Brian and I do this every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. So we give you a chance before the equity cash markets open. If you got any questions for Brian, please reach out to Brian. He is accessible. Support at keeptradingsimple.com. He's here to help you as well. So with that, want to thank everyone for joining us today. Be safe out there and good luck in the markets.